and I leave my law practice, and I leave all my clients, and I leave, potential, and by the way, I'm the primary breadwinner in my family. And so for an extra special bonus at Christmas time, InBev decides to lay my husband off in December of 2008. So really had to get it in high gear in the end of 2008, beginning of 2009 to make it work. But for any of you women here and you're ever thinking about changing a career, because I was not thinking about changing a career. I was 42 when I did that. I'm 50 now. I'm not going to retire a salon owner. This is not my last career. You're never too old. Take a chance. This was the hardest decision I've ever made, harder and riskier than having kids. Really, because I was putting my children's future at stake, okay? Which as a mother you don't do, okay? But it has paid off for me in ways that I could never, ever explain to anybody or to myself, that Laura Ortmann back when I was 42. So I'm in my 8th year of ownership. Ginger Bay is 25 years old. So that's how I did it.
Well, tell me about the business and what you guys offer. You have 2 locations now, the one in Kirkwood and then the one in Chesterfield? Is that
Town and Country.
Town and Country,
yes.
okay.
Yeah. So we have 2 locations now, opened a second location in 2012. Really proud of that because, the economy is still kind of tanking at that time. And so currently we have 110 employees between both locations. We're an Aveda salon and spa, which means we primarily sell Aveda products. Aveda is a wholly owned subsidiary of Estee Lauder. So all of the products are naturally derived from plants and flowers. They're all packaged in 96% post-consumer recycled materials. It's an amazing environmental company. Everything's made in the United States with wind and solar power. I mean, I could go on and on about Aveda's mission. It's amazing. But what we offer is we're a full-day salon and a full-day spa, and a salon. It's for men and women. So we do offer every kind of hair service you can imagine, from cuts and colors, straightening services, hair extensions, everything that you would expect. And then we have a full spa at both locations. Our Kirkwood location is our larger spa. It's 10,000 square feet in Kirkwood, and then it's 2,800 in Town and Country. We have corporate offices and a learning center in Kirkwood as well. But we offer almost anything you can imagine for a spa service, but we always make sure that we do it, that it's very healthy, and that it passes, our standards on wellness. So there's a lot of products we will not offer, like spray tanning. Still haven't found a healthy spray tan, just being honest. So things like that we test. We tested eyelash extensions for 2 years. I know that sounds silly, but we want to make sure that what we're putting on someone is very safe while still staying current with industry trends.
Now, in your industry, most owners will rent out space to independent contractors, right? Now, you decided not to go that route. Explain how that works.
So, thank you. That's a great question. So, the Professional Beauty Association estimates that about 85% of all salons, spas, and barbershops in the United States of America are what are called booth rental or independent contractor. That number in Missouri is about 92%. So I'm in the minority. Everyone that works at Ginger Bay is an employee. So even before the Affordable Health Care Act, I still provided full benefits, paid for over half of my employees' health insurance, their spouses, and their dependents. We have a matching 401k plan. We have so many amazing benefits. It's really fun to offer benefits when you own a salon and spa too, because there's a lot of service benefits that employees receive, a lot of retail benefits that employees receive. But everyone that works for Ginger Bay is an employee. There's no booth rental. And our feeling on that is very strong, that booth rental is not conducive to teamwork. Having an employee-based company, we're all a team, we're all there for each other. No one's trying to be cutthroat or get anyone else's business. And it's a huge piece of why our culture is so strong, and our employee retention is very, very high for a salon and spa. About 41% of my employees have worked for the company for 10 years or longer, and that's very unheard of in the salon and spa business.
Now, is this true that some of your employees have a year-long training process before they actually work with customers? I mean, that's a long time.
It's a long time, and it's a really expensive training program. So you all know this. Everybody here you're business owners, and you work at great businesses, and you've all been trained, and some of you haven't been trained. You've all had those jobs. And people tell you this all the time. You have to put the money into your team, into your employees, in the training process, because you'll pay for it. employee turnover is 10 times more expensive than training costs, okay? And it took me a while to get that, but after the second year of my ownership, so I'm in my 8th year of ownership, we instituted different training. We had training programs. We just instituted different training programs. So for instance, if you're going to cut hair at Ginger Bay, you have to train for a full year before we will ever let you see a paying client. So we pay for that. And so it's very common, though, that I might hire 6 and only 3 might make it through. But that's okay, right? Because what we're trying to do is we're trying to raise the bar. And when you come to Ginger Bay for a haircut, the starting haircut's $36. It's a 45-minute cut. It comes with all the bells and whistles. If you're a man getting a haircut, you're going to get a facial at the bowl. You're going to get a scalp massage. You're going to get a hand massage. All the stuff that needs to go into that takes a lot of training. And it's not just technical skills. It's customer service. And it's, well, we call them soft skills, but those are the non-negotiable skills.
Well, I think it's a great lesson on training and employee development that most companies probably don't follow. But I know that spa owners from all over the country come to St. Louis just to sit in on your employee huddles, your employee meetings. And tell me what's going on there that's bringing these other spa owners to come and look to say, what you're doing here in St. Louis.
Sure. So as I mentioned, in 2008, I'm pretty scared. I'm watching the economy tank. I just bought a business and I just put a huge loan on it. I've left my law practice. My husband's lost his job. The economy's tanking. And so we're going into 2009. And I had read this book about 10, 11 years prior called The Great Game of Business by Jack Stack. And in that book, it talks about transparency and opening your books to your employees. And we were in a desperate position. I'm not going to lie. I was not sleeping. It was a bad time for me. The next couple years were nail biters, and I know all of you know in this room what that really means because many of us went through that bad economy. And so what we did is we instituted a lot of practices from Great Game, and I'm really happy to say that our Great Game coach is here with us today. It's Bill Collier right down here. So Bill helped us a lot with that. But what we did, you can take a lot of pieces from Great Game. It's like a diet. You can kind of pick and choose what works for you, but it's a lot, and it's a great story if you ever get a chance to read the book. By the way, the company that the book is written about is located in Springfield, Missouri, so there's also a Missouri touch. But one element that we took from it is we do financial huddles every Wednesday. It's a leadership huddle at 12 noon. Anyone in the room can come at any time. We're at 437 South Kirkwood Road. It's a 30-minute huddle. We project our revenues and our expenses 4 weeks out in advance. So when you get your profit and loss statement from your accountant, it's all lagging indicators. It's all past information, right? You can't impact it. So our projection sheets are a living, breathing Excel document, and we are watching how our numbers are doing. And if we see a lot of red, we can go, 3 weeks from now, the aesthetics books look bad. So we need to have a conversation about what that looks like. So we try to get in front of it. And so we started doing that. And I think, again, that the beauty industry sometimes gets a bad rap, like there's not a lot of educated people in that industry, and just sort of a bad rap that way. These are kids who didn't want to finish, didn't want to go to college. And let me share with you, in the first year that we started huddling, again, at that time, we're probably $4.5 million business at that time. So we're talking 2009. In that room, in that leadership huddle, everybody in that room is a massage therapist, a nail tech, a hairstylist. Everybody in that room is struggling and trying to figure this out. And yet they projected our numbers, our revenues and our expenses with an error rate of less than 0.5%. And that's how Ginger Bay made it through the worst of the financial years. Because, and we still do this, but again, that made the difference. If you ask me anything that moved the dial for us in the bad economy, I would tell you it was huddling, because we were impacting our numbers before they happened. So we still do this at Ginger Bay. I'm going to miss our huddle today, but we'll get there. But yes, we do that, and we do have a lot of wonderful visitors, and we also won the All-Star Award from Great Game of Business in 2010 because of some of the practices that we adopted.
Great. Well, last question. Inspiring your employees, obviously that's how you do it. One of the ways is getting them more involved.
Right.
Tell us some of the best lessons you've learned and as far as inspiring your employees and getting them motivated.
This is a hard question. I know we all think about how we can inspire people, and it is hard. We all need our cup of inspiration filled, don't we? I mean, I think as owners too, we forget that. We put it on making sure we put a lot of our time and our energy on our families and on our employees, and we forget about us. So the first thing I would tell you is, as an owner, as a manager, fill your cup first. Okay, you can't give what you don't have, so make sure you do that. I do a lot of reading. I go to a lot of conferences. I go to a lot of other businesses. I love visiting with businesses outside of my industry. Learn from them and fill your cup with the inspiration you need as well. But I would tell you that one of the things that really helps us at Ginger Bay, first of all, we're a creative, diverse group. It's kind of remarkable. I come from a lawyer, kind of an all-male, sort of dominated sort of an industry, and then I go to one that's very creative, very, very eclectic, So I would tell you that being in either industry, it's not about gender, it's not about that, it's about the character of the people. And I can tell you what inspires people at Ginger Bay is making someone's day. We're about being day makers. We drive that a lot. We focus on our culture every single day at Ginger Bay. This week at Ginger Bay, for instance, it's Love Week. Okay? I know that probably sounds silly. We're having a blast. Every day, you have an angel and a human, and we pick each other's names. And I look so forward to what I'm going to give my human. I look so forward to that, but I also look forward to what I'm going to receive. You should see the energy right now at Ginger Bay. And that's just one example of what we do. We do a lot of education. We have education at the salon every single week. Some of it's mandatory, some of it's optional. And we don't just teach haircutting. We teach life skills. We bring in the 7 habits of highly effective people. We teach CPR. Most of my staff has kids. Would you know what to do if something happened to your small child? We teach things like that. We spend a lot of time on the 5 love languages of appreciation in the workplace. Every employee reads it when they come in. We just do a lot of stuff all the time. We have an employee appreciation, 2 weeks of employee appreciation, but throughout the course of the year, we're always having celebrations. We start every huddle even with kudos and announcements. We never end a huddle or a meeting on a bad note. We start with a good note, and we end with a good note. There's always applause, there's always cheering, there's always gratitude. And if you can make someone else's day, if you can fill their cup, your team will be inspired. Culture's got to be number one.
Great. Thank you very much, Laura.
Absolutely.